Catherine Fontaine was a lace maker. No one knew anything of her relatives or friends, and it was reported that when she was 18 years of age, she had loved the young Chevalier de Montclair and had been secretly affianced to him. But these said folk didn't believe a word of that, and said it was nothing more but a tale concocted because Catherine Fontaine's demeanor was that of a lady rather than that of a working woman, and because moreover she possessed beneath her white locks the remains of great beauty. Her expression was sorrowful, and on one finger she wore one of those rings fashioned by the goldsmith into the semblance of two tiny hands clasped together. Catherine lived a saintly life. She spent a great deal of time in churches, and every morning, whatever might be the weather, she went to assist at the 6 o'clock Mass of St. Eulalie. Now, one December night, while she was in her little chamber, she was awakened by the sound of bells, and nothing doubting that they were ringing for the first Mass, the pious woman dressed herself and came downstairs out onto the street. The night was so obscure that not even the walls of the houses were visible, and not a ray of light shone from the murky sky. And such was the silence amid from this black darkness that there was not even a sound of a distant dog barking, and a feeling of aloofness from every living creature was perceptible. But Catherine Fontaine knew well every single stone she stepped on, and as she could have found her way to the church with her eyes shut, she reached without difficulty the corner where the timbered house stands, with the tree of Jess carved into one of its massive beams. When she reached this spot, she perceived that the church doors were open, and that a great light was streaming out of it. She resumed her journey, and when she had passed through the porch, she found herself in this vast congregation, which entirely filled the church. But she did not recognize any of the worshippers, and was surprised to observe that all of these people were dressed in velvets and brocades with feathers on their hats, and that they wore swords in the fashion of days gone by. Here were gentlemen who carried tall canes with gold knobs, and ladies with lace caps fastened with coronet-shaped combs. Chevaliers of the Order of St. Louis extended their hands to these ladies, who concealed behind their fans painted faces, of which only the powdered brow and the patch on the corner of the eye were visible. All of them proceeded to take their places without the slightest sound, and as they moved, neither the sound of their footsteps on the pavement nor the rustle of their garments could be heard. And all of these sorrowful countenances seemed centered irremovably on one and the same thought, at once sweet and sorrowful. On her knees, in her accustomed place, Catherine Fontaine saw the priest advance towards the altar, preceded by two servants. Catherine recognized neither the priest nor the clerks. The Mass began. It was a silent Mass, during which neither the sound of the moving lips nor the tinkle of the bell was audible. Catherine Fontaine felt that she was under the observation and the influence also of her mysterious neighbor, and when scarcely turning her head, she stole a glance at him. She recognized the young Chevalier de Montclair, who had once loved her, and who had been dead for 45 years. She recognized him by the small mark which he had over the left ear, and above all by the shadow which his long black eyelash cast upon his cheeks. He was dressed in his hunting clothes, scarlet with gold lace, and stole a kiss. He had preserved his youth and good looks. When he smiled, he still displayed magnificent teeth. Catherine said to him in an undertone, "Monseigneur, you who were my friend and to whom in days gone by I gave all that a girl must hold dear, may God keep you in his grace. Oh, that he would at length inspire me with regret for the sin I committed in yielding to you. For it is a fact, though my hair is white and I approach my end, I have not repented of having loved you. But, dear friend and noble Signor, tell me, who are these folk, habited after the antique fashion, who are here assisting the silent Mass?" The Chevalier de Montclair replied in a voice feebler than a breath, but nonetheless crystal clear. Catherine, these men and women are souls from purgatory who have grieved God by sinning, as we ourselves sinned through love of the creature, but who are not on the account cast off by God, inasmuch as their sin, like ours, was not deliberate. While separated from those whom they loved upon earth, they are purified in the cleansing fires of purgatory. They suffer the pangs of absence, which is for them the most cruel of tortures. They are so unhappy that an angel from heaven takes pity upon their love torment. By the permission of the Most High, for 1 hour in the night, he reunites each lover to be loved in their parish church, where they are permitted to assist at the Mass of Shadows, hand clasped in hand. These are the facts. If it has been granted to me to see thee before thy death, Catherine, it is a boon which is bestowed by God's special permission. And Catherine Fontaine answered him, I would die gladly enough, dear Lord, if I might recover the beauty that was mine when I gave you that drink in the forest. While they thus conversed under their breath, a very old canon was taking the collection and proffering to the worshippers a great copper dish, wherein they let fall, each in his turn, ancient coins which have long since ceased to pass current. When at length it was placed before the Chevalier, he dropped in a coin that made no more sound than the other offerings. Then the old canon stopped before Catherine Fontaine, who fumbled in her pocket, unable to find anything. Being unwilling to allow the dish to pass without an offering from herself, she slipped from her finger the ring which the Chevalier had given her the day before his death, and cast it into the copper bowl. As the golden ring fell, a sound like the heavy clang of a bell rang out, and on the stroke of this reverberation, the Chevalier and the whole assembly vanished utterly. The candles guttered out, and Catherine Fontaine was left alone in the darkness.